Because the way that this experience on Earth is designed, it's full of distraction. It's full of triggers, hooks that aim at your ego all day long, at wounds, at your unconscious, to bring you back into the autopilot when you're trying so hard to meditate, or you're doing all things right, seemingly, right? So the best advice I can give you, if you take anything away from this episode, is your presence is your superpower.
Welcome back, travel enthusiasts, to an episode that is stoked with true magic and awe you get to experience in your life when listening to spirit and following the clues that you are given. I'm so happy for this long-awaited moment to welcome my dear friend, sister, and Egypt pilgrimage roommate with me today, Katerina Gray from Heartpowered Living.
Hi!
Hello! So sit tight and fasten your spirit bodies as we ride on the wings of the Feathered Serpent, connecting ley lines and energy codes from Sri Lanka to Egypt and beyond to activate your own light body within. Kat is a soul alignment mentor, an energy mastery facilitator, and a heart-centered leadership coach. Bridging the physical and spiritual realms, she translates ancient wisdom into practical tools for both personal transformation and conscious business leadership. She guides spiritually curious women to reconnect with their souls, activate their feminine magic, and reclaim a life of joy, abundance, and fulfillment. Together, they heal relationships, awaken intuitive gifts, and build soul-led businesses that thrive. She also offers a structured yet intuitive approach to leadership and innovation for conscious entrepreneurs and business leaders. Her work helps businesses infuse heart-centered practices like mindfulness, creative thinking, and energy mastery into their operations. This creates a workplace where activated intuitive hearts and clear logical minds guide decision-making, teams are aligned with shared purpose, and visionary ideas can flourish. Welcome, Kat. I'm so happy that the long-awaited moment is finally here to welcome you on the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, and in divine timing. I think we had originally scheduled this months ago, and then you had to cancel and then rescheduled, and I had to cancel. And then all along, this was going to be anchored in Sri Lanka, Egypt, and in this timeline that we're working with. And it's funny because it's been, 36 hours since I've been home back from Sri Lanka. So I really do think the timing of this was divine timing all along. So, yeah. So thank you for having me. I got really emotional when you were doing the intro, not my intro, but just saying your hello, because I don't know, it's just such an honor and a privilege watching you grow and unfold and step into what you're here to do. And I just felt so much love for you, dear sister. So
thank you. Thank you so much. And yeah, I don't even know where to begin, because obviously we also talk a lot, let's say, offline. But what wants to be shared today with the listeners, especially now that you are coming back from this activating grid with like new codes in your backpack, do you want to start by just sharing a little bit about let's see how we want to do this. Does it make to kind of like reverse engineer it, or do you want to start in the beginning and then
I think I'll
away from there?
I think I'll do a very quick intro. Some of the listeners may not know me, so thank you for the bio. But my journey started March 13th, 2020, when I sat up in bed in the middle of the night. And if you paid attention to the date, that was the date when COVID basically descended onto Earth and we went into lockdown and all of it. And I started hearing this voice. In 2023, my family relocated from Austin, Texas to Dubai. by a crazy change of plans, being redirected from one move to another. And we settled in Dubai, where I was told I would be here in this home base and I would go places and collect the codes from different places like Egypt, Sri Lanka, bring them back, anchor them in my body, anchor them in the grids, and keep doing that. So I never really resonated with the term grid worker, but clearly there was something about this that was the calling. I always felt that my work is heart-powered living, mindfulness, intuition, creativity, helping you surrender and open your heart. And this earth thing was just for fun. But little did I know that they're so intertwined, and how activating places are for us, for the people we're guiding. And that's how you and I really connected. We, as you mentioned, we were sisters and roommates on a pilgrimage with 𝙬𝙗𝙚 𝙀𝙚 in Egypt, and got to witness each other experience crazy activations and all the things. But we can talk about Egypt, but I really wanted to bring in Sri Lanka because it's not a place that most of you guys are probably like, oh, Sri Lanka has been calling me. You probably think, Ceylon, Sri Lanka, well, tea comes from there. What else? Why? And the first time I stepped foot on Sri Lanka, on the island, which sits in the middle of Indian Ocean, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the land, with the people, and for the first time in a while, and remember, I'm living in Dubai, which is a crazy, masculine, air, fire, everything going at once. I landed on an island that felt like truly the template of Garden of Eden. And this place, to me, revealed itself, and I could see Mother Mary, Parvati, Tara, and this mother energy, this great mother energy, which when you're visiting all this in service industry, it's all men. So it's really interesting how, the 3D and the other dimensions, they're still lagging. They're still not quite connected. But I have returned. I went with my family at first, then with my daughter last year, and then I just returned from a retreat there. And Sri Lanka is, to me, the placenta for New Earth. If we're birthing New Earth, it's what keeps feeding it, because under the surface of the land, you have emeralds, rubies, sapphires, citrine, rose quartz. Every stone you can imagine is there, and it's holding that frequency of New Earth, of fifth dimension, of whatever you want to call it, of the frequency of love. And yeah, that's the land. And the connection with Egypt, if you're wondering, well, surely there's a lot of places like it. The connection is you'll hear stories from the locals about the blue people who visited, who landed there, the lion people. There's the Lion Rock. There's all of the interesting places where objects in the sky and lights are seen. And there are people who are known as the snake people and the lion people and the blue people. It's all in there, right? It's a distant memory, but it's there because the two places were highly visited in our distant past by those who seeded this planet and set the plan in motion. And I believe the places where it started is the places where we have to return, to remember, to collect the codes, to rebirth ourselves. I think, Julia, you'll agree with me. Egypt is a place of death and rebirth, and for me, Sri Lanka was that too.
Totally. Yeah, yeah. Hey, everybody, if you are enjoying the show, then you would do me the biggest favor in clicking the subscribe button and engaging with my content so I can continue to deliver these beautiful conversations to you. Thank you so much. I love that. And wow, there is already so much that we could go into. I would want to elaborate a little bit more on the connections with the serpentine people, the Nagas, the feathered serpent that you have also come quite closely into connection. So what has been the major activations for yourself as this code carrier while being in Sri Lanka and then taking them further everywhere that you went?
Yeah, so for me, the dragon and the serpent and all of this has not been part of the journey from the start. In fact, like many of you, I used to be terrified of snakes, and I've come very close living in Texas to rattlesnakes in my garage, in my backyard, and on trails, and just not my favorite thing. And when we went to Egypt, that's where I received the information that snakes are agents of light, agents of Ma'at, that they have been entrusted millennia holding the codes of light and spreading them through the earth. And dragons have had an even bigger role of holding the codes of creation, the primordial codes of creation, and really holding them in the earth, in the heart of the earth, and enveloping the earth with them and spreading them. So for me, all of this really started like a year and a half ago. And then I knew I had to go back to Sri Lanka. I just knew it was calling me. And about 2 days before going for the second time, I woke up in the middle of the night, and in front of me was the Naga king, who was speaking in what sounded like snake, and saying that I had important work to do. And then from behind him stepped out Shiva with a snake around his throat. And it was, at the time I was like, do I Google this? I don't understand what is happening. Like, when new things come, you're like, who is this Naga King? What is all this stuff? But you just go with it. You just go with it. And yeah, we got there and we were staying at this beautiful place, this boutique hotel, almost like Airbnb style on the beach. And in the dream, they said, or in that sleep, they said, find the rock in the ocean. So I went and found the rock, and I sat in this rock surrounded by the water. And that's where they started talking. And they started talking about how the serpent consciousness, and really this king archetype of serpents, has been holding the divine masculine energy on the planet, safeguarding it, really safeguarding it until the men and women were able to receive the codes, until they could be unlocked, and then they can be received into our physical human bodies so that we could embody them and be the carriers of them. And that was what I was there to do. I was there to facilitate as a mother energy would, to rebirth this, I did not know at the time his name or what it was, but this serpent dragon out of the Indian Ocean, he's traveled through the earth and birthing him there, bringing him out there. So that was kind of the start. And then the dragon serpent, plume serpent, rainbow serpent, different iterations of it started coming up in my awareness. And again, I started connecting the dots. Louise, our dear friend who you've had on here, filled in some gaps for me. Somebody else filled in. You know how this works. You collect the breadcrumbs and you figure things out. And it's only when you're looking back does it all make sense. So yeah, it all like a puzzle comes together. And then a couple weeks ago from when we were recording was the Lunar New Year, the year of the snake, and the the day before, I'm going to show you my tattoo. I went and got I got him tattooed on my arm because I could feel him literally sitting here. Like he was here, this divine masculine wisdom holder, the plumed serpent, Quetzalcoatl, the Kukulkan, whatever name there has been in history for him. And he wanted to be here. What I learned, and if you're into tattoos, you might get a kick out of this. Tattoos help us integrate parts of our soul missions, parts of our soul history, pieces that have unlocked that we are like, you say to yourself, oh, let me not forget this. I can't forget this. It's almost like tattoos are that. They keep it as like it's ingrained in you. It's inked in you. It's there. So he is there. He's here now. And his pattern, the scales are the grid that you see in ayahuasca and plant ceremonies. So anyways, that's him, the plume serpent.
Yeah.
And
it's
comes
a
everywhere.
great way. Well, he for sure is everywhere now. And there's a few other layers to that, but maybe before we touch on that, as you say that also, tattoos are this kind of like anchor point or remembrance. How can we actually become aware that we are collecting codes as we travel places, and what do we do with them?
Oh, good question. Okay. So let's start first. It's not even travel. It's life in general, right?
Yeah.
Because the way that this experience on Earth is designed, it's full of distraction. It's full of triggers, hooks that aim at your ego all day long, at wounds, at your unconscious, to bring you back into the autopilot when you're trying so hard to meditate, or you're doing all things right, seemingly, right? So the best advice I can give you, anything, if you take anything away from this episode, is your presence is your superpower. So when you can be present with everything, right? So I'll give you an example. I'm going to the grocery store, and my usual thing is to put on my headphones and listen to music and just do my thing in and out. So yes, I can be present in that, but the fullest expression of presence in that moment would be to not put the headphones in and do what autopilot does, but to allow yourself go through it slowly, picking the fruit, smelling it. Suddenly you hear somebody say, ginger is, somebody's having a conversation. Ginger, garlic, lemon, cayenne, the best thing for immune system. And you're like, oh, interesting, they're talking about that. I have a scratch in my throat. Maybe I should do that. And get it, and you keep going. And somebody else says something else, and it's like exactly the universe is speaking to you through everyone and everything. A song comes on, and it's literally what you were praying for answers earlier that morning. And the song comes on at the grocery store on the loudspeaker. Had you had your headphones in, you would have missed the song. You would have missed the advice about ginger and the immune shot. You would have missed the opportunity to smell the fruit and pick out the fruit that is the ripest. So this is for life in general. And it's even more important when we go places. And when we go places, it's about being present with everything. And it's also reading the energy of the places, following the energy. Because when you go to places like Sri Lanka, Egypt, let's use Sri Lanka as an example, there are these hubs of light, these pyramids of light, temples of light. It might be a hotel, it might be a sound healing place, it might be a farm that you go to. And when you go to these places, notice what is shifting in you. When I was there, I think I slept maybe 2-3 hours a night. My usual is 7 or 8. And I felt more awake and alive and full of energy than ever before. I didn't eat much. I had some fruit. You can't explain it, right? It was entering a different frequency bandwidth, a different dimension in a way. So if I was not listening to my body, if I was not being present, if I was not recognizing things that are happening, right, I would have totally defaulted to my autopilot and forced that meal and given myself, like melatonin or something to like force the sleep. And it's in the presence that the gifts are unlocked. And when you go places, look at it as the body of Earth, right? And you're going and you're giving love to it and you're receiving love from it. And you are creating a ceremony in every step of the way. So if you feel like picking the hibiscus and then dropping it into the water, do it. If you feel like running off to the beach alone and leaving your family alone, create space for that. It's following those we can call them intuitive hits, but they're our body's wisdom, because our bodies are they're trying to take us places. They're trying to assist us in this process of remembering and awakening and expanding. And yeah.
I love what you just said. And I bet there is a lot of people who can relate to that. Also, I feel, now is the time where we can really feel that time, like as this concept as we know it, is like amplifying and it's getting like faster and faster, which also means that the codes are coming or getting unlocked within us faster. And the way that it shows up for me is these synchronicities. Like you were explaining it in a different way, but I feel this is exactly it, like being present. And I think I heard you say the other day that like stuff needs to come to you like 3 times, or you ask for it to be shown 3 times, and then you're like, okay, it's mine. It's go time. And that's how, when we are in presence and what you just explained, how we can pick up on these things, because otherwise we would never, or our minds would never ever like plan for these things to happen, right?
Well, in our minds, the reason why I ask for some things to come 3 times is because sometimes I'll say, is this the house that we should buy? And like my mind is like, well, of course, and this. And sometimes it's like, when you're in that uncertainty or doubt, it's hard to tell what is your mind, what is the higher guidance. And for the things that are like really important, I say, give me 3 confirmations, right? Like, and I'll honor that. And if not, I'll let it go. And for something like the house, it would have to be very, very evident, right? It's like, and so out of left field, somebody just coming at you, telling you, my best friend lives on the street, and you're like, that's the street that the house is on. It's and I find that that's what keeps life fun. And it's the magic behind the scenes. It's the magic that we get glimpses of, because really I don't like the term game, that this is a game that we're playing, right? That life is a game. because a game usually means that we lose or play, we win or lose. But it's really this experience of the full range of everything, of emotions, of pain, pleasure, of awe, wonder, of being completely devastated by what we see. And all of it is orchestrated for us to come into remembrance that we are light, that we are divinity in a physical vessel. And one of the insights that came from this recent trip, I, like many of you listeners, struggle with eating healthy, doing the things that are supportive of my physical body. I found in the recent years, my body holds a lot of water, all of this stuff, right? And the program runs, I need to have more discipline. I need to have more motivation, devotion, all the things so that I can be better, so that I can look better, so that I can then hold more light and I can be more connected. Well, the guidance was coming through. You have it wrong. You have it backwards. It's not about that. It's about, can you be so at peace? Can you be so in alignment? Can you be so pure with your thoughts in that presence? When negativity or criticism, judgment, whatever comes in, victimhood, right? And clearing it and returning to the frequency of love, that straight, like the line, like, yes, I got it, right? And then at that moment, you will not want to eat anything. That is not of the highest light for your body in that moment, right? Your job is to be present, connected, pure in your thoughts, connected to the energy of love. And that's it. And every choice, everything that unfolds from there is going to be easy. You don't have to force yourself. So the only work really is on being mindful, on being intentional, being the presence of your spirit in your body instead of mind that is, running old programs and trying to avoid and suppress emotions and all the things. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, well, it makes a lot of sense. And what comes to me is I feel a lot of times maybe also why we have a tendency to fall back into these default programmings is because we don't feel safe. So I would want to explore with you, like, how do we create the sanctuary within our bodies for more of our divine soul to land?
Again, your question could not be more perfect. I actually had a conversation this morning with a dear friend who, she's a guide for women, mothers with daughters who struggle with eating disorders. And talk about no safety in the body, right? So what was the guidance that was coming through for her was that there's a spirit, right? Our soul is a spirit that comes into our body. And there's the mind and there's the body, and they all have to work together. They have to work in unison, and they all have to appreciate and love each other and forgive each other and all the things. It's like this, it's not just one thing inside us. It's a bunch of them. And the spirit wants nothing more than to be fully expressed the energy of love and to share its gifts with the world. But of course, the human is like, oh God, no, I want to play small. I don't feel safe. I don't, whatever, right? So it's about seducing the mind in a way of showing the mind that it is safe, that the safest thing actually is to be with this presence, that your heart is this vortex, this spiral that is connected to the heart of all, the divine heart, and that this is where the safety really is. But in the case of For example, girls struggling with eating disorders. What was coming through was the spirit really struggles with the idea of being in a physical body and the body looking a certain way. And it's creating, and yes, the soul created that experience because it wanted to have that experience, but it's painful to be in it, uncomfortable to be in it. And from a mother watching a daughter go through it, it's excruciating.
Yeah.
So again, if we can have space holders, if you can hold space for yourself, for your own spirit, for the light of your own soul, it's about coming in a circle, in a safe space with others and having them support you, them embrace you, them give you love, shower you with light until you remember that you have that capacity within yourself. So you're not supposed to do this alone. You're supposed to ask for help, reach out. And if there's something in your mind right now that's going, well, but I don't have money to pay for this or that, there's so many resources, so many circles, so many things being facilitated. Offer help, trade services, whatever it is. You don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to stay stuck in being unsafe. That's a story that the mind keeps running. And your job, literally, your soul is like cheering you on. Come on. The job is to say, I rise despite this fear, and I choose to hold love and walk through this fear and come out on the other side, reborn as the embodiment of my soul, as this being of light that I came here to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the way that you just framed it with the seducing of the mind. And, I'm like working with and through a lot of the Magdalene consciousness in a special like healing modality that is actually called Magdalene Reiki. And a part of that trade is allowing that seductress, that temptress to come on, which ultimately, if you look at it as an energy, it's also, again, like really this very, very feminine energy. So I love, I was just, when you said it, I was seeing like how it is, again, like actually this feminine energy, that breath of life in the structure that is changing and rewiring the paradigm, if you want to say so.
Sorry, as you were talking about it, you said the seductress, she's feminine. It's also the serpent. It's also the serpent.
Oh, yeah.
There's two. There's the masculine and the feminine.
Yes.
And the feminine serpent is the seductress. It's the one that wants to come in and like take all the layers off, the skin, the clothes, the cloaks and the masks, and say, you are perfect just the way you are. You are beautiful just the way you are. You are returning to your divine template. And look at this. Look at this. Just witness yourself. Yeah. Literally, stop hiding. And yeah, the hiding is the program that runs in the women healers, creators, creatrixes. It runs the witch wound and all of that. But even to that, I will say, don't let the stories keep you stuck. Don't let the stories keep you tethered to the physical. Like use the connection, the presence, and the connection to spirit, to your soul, to the light of your soul as your guiding light, as the flashlight when it feels dark and scary and you want to default back to the old ways. Because we need you. The time is speeding up and we really, really need you to come online.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would want to take this a few octaves higher with you, because one of the things that I also really appreciate and value about you and your work is that you really bring in this cosmic perspective as that, and I'm going to name her as that Commander Sekhmet. So, and many other, many more. But also, it's that perspective. So seeing something in others that they maybe can't see, but then also really bringing this into a very 3D tangible experience lifestyle. So what would Commander Sekhmet tell the listener, the people who are watching, to, let's say, the current situation? And I'm explicitly going to place it in a very broad spectrum and scenario.
Woo! I love it. Okay. This has been on my mind and in my field the last 24 hours so much. Okay. So from a cosmic greater perspective, and we forget, even I forget, even though I feel like I have a direct link to them all the time. We just judge everything. Good, right, I have it figured out. Oh, President Trump is a good guy. He's a savior. No, he's the evil one. Oh, he's coming to do this. No, he's coming to do that. And it's all the stories, right? It's all stories. And their guidance is always look at it and turn it back to yourself, because you are a fractal in this greater whole. And then when this little fractal can be filled and glow with purity, it radiates light and becomes this contagion for every other cell in this body and clears it. And yesterday, I actually recorded a podcast episode, a solo episode on my podcast about the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, the whole situation that's happening in Hollywood. He said, she said, happened on set, all of the things, and how it is how it's two humans, but two spirits, two souls in human form, standing on a stage, and we are all to watch it, right? Remember, you are observing what's happening. Try to not get dragged into it. Don't get dragged into anything. And you're watching it, and you're watching the divine masculine and a wounded feminine have a go and on as a legal battle, and all that's happening in the framework of Hollywood, in the big arena of our collective court of approval. Who will cancel who? What will happen, right? Remember that this is all happening to awaken you into your power. It's literally all happening for you. Like you, individual listener, this is happening for you. So everything you see that triggers you, that your best friend or your husband or your mom has an opinion and your opinion differs, don't go into who is right and who is wrong. Go into, well, what is this reflecting? Every war, everything, it's a reflection of what's happening within each one of us, within your family dynamics, within your friend circle. It's all designed to wake you up. And that's what she would tell you. She would say, wake the up. Like, don't get caught up. And she doesn't mess around. Sekhmet is not a warm, loving presence. She's, yeah. She will tell you to, why do you dilly-dally? Why do you dilly-dally? That's like, she said that to so many of my friends and clients. And it's like, well, it's really hard in this human experience. And sit up. Why? Why is it hard? It's a story. And as somebody who is a guide for other humans in human form, Cat is human, the work, and if you're listening to this and you are a fellow guide for humans, our work is to figure out, to really feel when is okay to push somebody, when is okay to hold somebody, when is okay to point something out, when do we need to hold back? Because sometimes it comes in all at once and I can see the full Akashic record of this person unfold and who they are and what they're here to do. But they might not be ready, right? They might not be ready And the lesson for me in that moment is to get into that poise, that restraint, that like mature guide who's then able to say, okay, this is for today and this is what you work on, and just this little piece of it. And we keep unraveling more and more, because the era of, the coaches, all the things is coming to, it's almost like we have this funnel of all of these people that want to do this, right? That want to be guides for everybody else. But it's coming to like a funnel where the people who will really make it through the funnel and become the true guides for humanity are the ones who are in full integrity in their embodiment, in connection, in presence, that are holding that light. And everything else will fall away. It will. And we need more guides. So wake up. Wake up and rise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what
And
you're
go
saying.
places if you can. Go places if you can. Go get activated. Follow Julia with her, keep being inspired. Keep going places, bringing rocks, bringing waters, beautifying your space, beautifying your body. Not in artificial ways, but in the ways that our souls are guiding us. And yeah, play.
Yeah.
We take everything so seriously, but it is a difficult world to be in, but at the same time, so much of it is an illusion that they're waiting for us to cut through and to remember and to break the spell.
Yeah, well, exactly. I feel it's also very much the perspective that we choose. And whenever there is something that we feel that it's hard, it's more like we haven't found the right like key for the lock to open it, or like we're not quite ready to go to that next evolution in our incarnation, but also kind of like soul, I'm missing the word for it, but you know what I mean. And
Yeah, it's a journey.
so
The soul's
sometimes
overall.
it's just, and so sometimes it's just wait, and then things will fall into place.
It's trust and surrender. I mean, I know, like, if you were listening to this and you're like, oh, there goes another person saying those words, but it really is. It's trusting in the divine plan, not just for you, but for everything. That there's a plan for your daughter, there's a plan for your husband, there's a plan for everything. Everything. Trusting in that there is a balancing element involved here, and surrendering your own will for your time, things should happen this way. Well, who says? Having to learn patience and acceptance and all the difficult lessons, right? And surrendering to your will, the divine will, and really saying, I am a vessel, I'm a channel for this. Use me as you will. And you know what? I'm actually going to share, hold on. Tosha Silver, The Wild Offering Oracle. And she has a book, It's Not Your Money. And she has another book, I believe. But if you hold circles, or if you do any kind of, even for yourself, the Wild Offering Oracle by Tosha Silver, I strongly recommend it. This is the best tool in teaching others to surrender. And she's the most incredible teacher on that. And I truly feel that the call this year is step out of your own way. Step out of your own way so that magic can unfold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hope that makes sense.
It makes a lot
Here,
of
let's see if
sense.
it has a card. There's a card for us. Okay. Ooh, ambition. Somebody has ambition. May I offer all my deepest longings to love itself and invite a divine plan beyond my mind's imagining. Please use me for the highest good.
Woo!
That resonates.
That is amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So there you go. I'm all for any tool that I ever come across, I'm like, please, here, take it. More people need to hear about it. So yeah, Tosha Silver, check her out. I'm sure you'll put it in the show notes.
We're going to putting it in the show notes. Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. I didn't know that. I'm going to check that out too. Yay. Another thing that I would like to touch on, because also, of course, I was, fortunate to witness your own journey with that. But I want to say that like the first conversations that we both had an opinion with regards to plant medicine. And then now you've had your own journey with it. And a lot has unfolded and opened up for you. So I'm sure that there is, of course, as always, like still pieces integrating. But if there is anything that you would want to share for the audience, I would love for you to speak into your experience.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for bringing this up. So when I started channeling in 2020, my very clear guidance from the start was no nothing, no plant medicine. Keep clean and clear. We allow cacao, but like that's it. And I really respected it, and I really felt that there was a reason for it, because I wasn't allowed a crutch. I had to do it on my own in a way, right? Because I'm not saying plant medicine is a crutch, but I would have turned it into a crutch. My ego, who Kat is, who this avatar is, would have done that. And this summer 24, I was on a plane and I heard and I felt this voice, and I saw this almost like a vine, this snake, this serpent, and it was the voice of ayahuasca coming and saying, come to me, my child. And I was like, well, I don't really feel like going to Costa Rica, but I'm sure we'll meet. And just couple weeks later, we ended up meeting. And the first that she showed me, and I'm very visual. I'm visual even without taking anything. I see things for people in readings, when meditations, all the things. So this was like Avatar meets Fantasia meets what's that little the casita, the other Disney movie with like the house with with anyways.
In Mexico. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm completely blanking on the name. We don't talk about Pedro, that one. I'm sure if you're listening to this, you're saying the name and just like, come on, Kat, just get it. Okay, doesn't matter. Encanto, thank you. Whoever sent it my way, Encanto, thank you. And the first thing that I saw was myself being part of the ceremony and serving the medicine, which I was like, what are you talking about? Oh, no. And she was like, yes. And I'm going to show you who I am. And ayahuasca, which is brewed from two different plants, a vine and a leaf of two different plants, was formulated hundreds of years ago in several locations at the same time, or more or less the same time. So it came to different tribes and shamans who didn't talk to each other, but she came to them and she told them how to brew it in a very specific way. And what this plant is, it's a vehicle that opens something in you and delivers the message, is the cosmic messenger. I don't have another word for her. She's the cosmic messenger that opens the pathways for greater awareness within you so that you can receive what is needed for your healing, for your evolution, and helps you open your unconscious library of everything and clear it so that you can free yourself from the suffering from the prison of suffering that you yourself have locked yourself in. Because for many of us, it's, we had a bad thing happen to us once, but we keep reliving it and replaying it and keeping us a prisoner without, letting go and forgiving and all of it. She works on the healing portion of it. And then she's also here to activate us into the remembrance of who we are and why we are here. So my journey with her is only really just beginning, but I also see her as the connector of the people, of the humanity, the family. It was that familia, right? It's like, it's the family, the human family coming together and seeing each other as truly as brother and sister, as one. If you've ever been to a ceremony, you know how you come as strangers and you're kind of maybe even evaluating or judging somebody, and you leave and you're just in tears, just love flowing through you, hugging and kissing and knowing that life will never be the same and these people will be in your life forever. Because she has that, she's the cosmic messenger, the cosmic connector, divine, the serpent that connects all. In the indigenous tribes, the ancient wisdom holders have been the guardians of it, but she's coming into greater spotlight now, because you know why? Because we've been dilly-dallying, we've been taking it too slow. Something needed to come in and just blast light through us. So that's why so many people are being called to ayahuasca, mushrooms, San Pedro, Wachuma, like all of these different things, right? And if you want to find out more, I'd recommend you go and look up plant medicine people. Kat Courtney, in my opinion, does the most incredible job of being an educator and an advocate for it in just the most grounded and practical way. It's a tool. It's another tool. Before, maybe you could have spent a week sitting in a cave in the darkness with someone tending to you, bringing you water, whatever, and reach enlightenment in that way. But we have tools coming to us. They're literally coming to us now when it's our time. And my last thing I'll say about it is, trust the timing. Don't go seeking. Don't go pushing. Don't do that. Surrender to the time. Surrender the initiation with the plant medicine to the divine. And trust and be present, because somebody will say something. Like, oh, tell me more. Did you just mention that? Oh, what about, oh, there it is. You would miss it if you weren't present. Brought it full circle from where we started.
So much. So coming back to the synchronicities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love how you... my blue lotus tea.
Which is another thing that we've been talking about, when especially for preparation in traveling and going into the deeper connection with a certain land, is to work with the inherent plants, whatever that may be, right?
Yes. The plants, the crystals, the everything, and then bringing them back and continuing working with them. Yeah. Because the places we go are like, we are guided there for a reason. There is something that wants to keep unfolding. And Julia, you came on my podcast and we talked about integration, the need for integration. It was a great episode where you shared so much about that importance. And when we go travel, having that space to land so that it can all unfold, because you went and got the codes, right? And then it's like the codes need to unfold within you. And I find that the plants and the rocks and the sand and the waters that we bring back with us, having asked the permission to do so, help us unlock everything we ingested, whether it was through sound, through energy body, through light body, whatever it was, right? Because the journey doesn't end when we travel. It just keeps going. Yeah.
Yeah. And at that point, I also would want to encourage everybody who is listening or watching to really check out Kat's podcast, Heartpowered Conversations, where you will literally find so much good advice, recommendations, other resources, and a great network of tools, so to say, to really, really anchor in these codings, not only in your body, but for everyday life. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Yeah. Heart-powered living is about being powered by source, by love, and really in every day. It's about how you are, how you be when you go and pick up your kids from school, when you go to the grocery store, how you deal with a broken arm. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm showing off my one of my scars from when I went to Egypt and had a really big death and rebirth initiation of breaking my arm. But it's how we be when we're in all of the situations that arise for us, not to us, for us. For us. Yeah. And we are the architects. We are the ones that came to remember, and also we are the ones that came to bring heaven on earth back, the golden age, the peace on earth, not to save the planet. She's not asking us to save her, but to be an ally in her rebirth, in this new consciousness of her to take seed and, become who she came here to be.
Yeah. Yeah. So much. Wow. That already sounds like nice words of completion, but I want to ask you if there is anything else that you would want to share. And of course, it feels like we've just scratched the surface. But let's
we did scratch the surface. If there's anything else I'd like to share, I would say, I don't know why this has come through, but I think it's important. Okay, there's only one you, and this is making me emotional. There's only one you, and you came here to be that you, to be that light, to be the transmitter of your soul's frequency. So don't look to the sides, don't look at anyone else, don't look to use anybody else's words, anybody else's ideas. It's about you, your expression, unique gifts, your soul's frequency. When I do soul magic, soul light readings, I see they're never really the same. Some might be of a similar energy connection up further up, but they all have different iterations. And don't rub source, God, the divine, of having the fullest expression as you in this lifetime. And my greatest prayer is that you remember who you are. You allow that true, authentic essence to just burst out of you, to share your gifts with the world. And if I can support you in any way, I'm here for that. And I think you'll probably link all of the stuff in show notes. Heartpowered Living across Instagram, the website, everything.
We'll do that. And thank you for this beautiful transmission. That's like a light body activation in itself.
Yeah. I think, we often look for this activation or that meditation or this experience, transcend that, transcend this, but Spirit is asking you to bring it all into the body and to work with the body and to not fight the mind, but to befriend it. And it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be arduous. It can be soft and gentle. And that's all, really. I'm so grateful to you for having me here and for you saying yes to this podcast. I remember when you were playing with the idea, and here it is, and look how beautiful it is.
Well, it's beautiful because I feel, as you said, that the plants are making their way into our consciousness. It's equally the places, and through the people that are transmitting the codes, that are like translating this into human language. Yeah, so thank you for being a part of it. Where is next for you?
Well, where's next? the family and I going to Japan. My soul's greatest wish was to dance amongst the cherry blossoms, to smell them, to
Yay!
take them in, to experience that. So we're going to Japan end of March. And then I'm taking a small group to Egypt in April for a 9-day pilgrimage. And then I have a feeling we'll be returning back to Sri Lanka in May. And yeah, and who knows? Who knows what's after. So I do, like I said, Sagittarius, never stop traveling. It's part of what's encoded in us by the stars.
Yeah.
And of course, you
Feel
don't
you
have
on
to
that.
be a Sagittarius to love to travel, but it's the suitcase always ready is a Sagittarius trait, where
Yeah.
I don't need to sit a suitcase.
Where is the next adventure?
Yeah, where's the next adventure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you for coming here and sharing all of these beautiful, it almost feels like a transmission in itself. And as much as, it is important to collect the codes, it's really the presence and the awareness that you spoke into, how we can bring this expansion into the everyday life so we can have that expanded moments, these exalted moments in every minute and every situation that we live with our families, with our communities, everything. Thank you, Kat. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listening. And as always, stay curious and continue to escape the ordinary.